Good day, everyone. Today, I would like to share to you the story of the Cyclo, a journey through Hanoi's old quarter. Have you ever wondered what a city would sound like if time decided to slow down? Imagine yourself sitting comfortably on a small three-wheel bicycle. The traffic rushes by on motorbikes. People hurry to work, coffee filled with the conversations, and somewhere nearby, the aroma of freshly brewed Vietnamese coffee drifts through the air. Yet, you are in no hurry. The gentle sounds of the pedals turning beneath you becomes almost like the rhythm of the city itself. Welcome to Hanoi, a city with more than 1,000 years of history, where every narrow street, every old building, and every old tree had witnessed generations come and go. And perhaps there is no better way to discover its souls than from the seat of the Cyclo. Today, many people think of the Cyclo as simply a tourist attraction, a fun way to explore the city while taking photographs. But to understand why this humble vehicle is still so beloved, we must travel back in time. Long before Vietnam was filled with the millions of motorbikes, before cars became common, and even before traffic lights control busy intersections, the cyclo was part of everyday life. Its story actually began during the French colonial period. Before the cyclo existed, passengers traveled in hand-pull rickshaws. A man would run on foot, pulling two passengers through crowded street under the scorching tropical sun. It was exhausting work that demand incredible physical strength and often offer very little reward. In 1939, a French engineer searched for a more human solution. While living in the French Indochina, he redesigned the traditional rickshaw by replacing the human puller with a bicycle. The passenger seat was moved to the front, giving the rider views of the street ahead, while the driver pedaled comfortably from the behind. These inventions became known as the cyclopauses. Over time, people simply call it the cyclo. The idea quickly separates across the French Indochina, first appearing in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, before reaching to Saigon and later Hanoi, Vietnam. No one could have imagined that these practical inventions would eventually become one of the Vietnam's most recognized cultural icons. During the 1940s and 50s, the Cyclo became one of the busiest vehicles in Vietnamese cities. Office workers rode them to work, students rode them to school, machines transport goods through narrow alleyways, and families use them for shopping. Even the wedding celebration sometimes included the beautifully decorated cyclos carrying the bride and the groom through the streets. In many ways, the cyclo was more than transportations. It connect people, it connect neighborhoods, it connect stories. Unlike today, the taxi or ride-sharing service, every cyclo ride came with the conversations. Driver often knew every shortcut, every family-owned restaurant, every hidden temple, and every local stories. Some had spent decades riding the very same streets, watching children grow into parents and parents become grandparents. They were not only drivers, they became living historians. Then came change. After decades of war, Vietnam enters a new period of rebuilding and economic development. Motorcycles became affordable, cars slowly appeared, roads became busier than ever before. People needed speed, life became faster. The Cyclo, built for a slow world, gradually disappeared from everyday transportations. Many cities removed them from the busy roads entirely. For a moment, it seemed that these beautiful chapters of Vietnamese history might quietly come to an end. But something unexpected happened. The tourists from around the world arrived Vietnam looking for not only for famous landmarks, but for authentic experience. They wanted to slow down. They want to see Vietnam that locals remembered. And suddenly the Cyclo found a second life. Today, although you may no longer see office workers commuting by Cyclo, you will still find them waiting patiently in Hanoi's old quarter, ready to introduce to tourists to one of the Asia's oldest surviving neighborhoods. But what exactly is the old quarter? The answer to that question, we must travel back almost 1,000 years. In the years 1010, Emperor Lý Thái Tổ made one of the most important decisions in Vietnamese history. He moved the capital of Đại Việt to Thăng Long, the cities we know now as Hanoi. Legend tells us that as his royal boat approached the city, a golden dragon rose from the Red River and flew into the sky. Seeing this as a sign of the prosperity, the emperor's named his new capital Thăng Long, meaning ascending dragon. As the royal city grew, craftsmen from the village across northern Vietnam traveled here seeking new opportunities. Rather than mixing together, artisans with the same profession settle on the same streets. Silversmiths live beside the silversmith. Blacksmiths live beside the blacksmith. Silk merchants trade alongside with the silk merchants. Paper makers, bamboo craftsmen, herbal medicine sellers, bronze workers, and lanterns makers all establish their own communities. The unique organizations create what became known as the famous 36 streets of Hanoi. Even today, many street names still begin with the words Hang, meaning goods or merchant. For example, Hang Bak was home to silver craftsmen. Hang Gai, specialist in silk. Hang Ma became famous for colorful ceremonial paper offering and festive decorations. Hang Thiek produced household items made from tin. Although modern business have transformed many of these streets, the names continue to preserve the memory of the craftsmen who built Hanoi centuries ago. Walking through the old quarter today feels like reading pages from a living history book. Some houses are so narrow that visitors often wonder why. The answer is surprising practical. Centuries ago, taxes were calculated according to the width of the building facing the street. To reduce taxes, Families built very narrow frontage while extending their homes deep into the property behind. This became known as the tube houses, a style that's remained one of the Hanoi's most distinctive architectural features. As you continue through the Hanoi Old Quarter, you notice something else. There is no perfect silence. Instead, there is a beautiful harmony, the ringings of bicycles' bells, the laughter of the children returning from the school, the gentle call of the street vendors selling seasonal fruits, the sounds of bowls and chopsticks from the tiny family restaurants, the hiss of eggs, coffee being prepared, the fragrance of the freshly baked bánh mì, the smoky aroma of the grilled pork rising into the evening air. These are not simply sounds and smells, they are memories waiting to be made. This is actually why the Cyclo belong here. Unlike the riding a motorbike, where your attention stays fixed on traffic, or sitting inside a taxi separated by the glass windows, the Cyclo invites you to experience the city with every one of your senses. You notice the details, a grandmother watering flowers outside her home, a tailor carefully sewing an áo dài by hand, children playing in the hidden courtyards, ancient temples standing quietly between modern cafe store. The city doesn't rush past you, instead it slowly introduces itself, and perhaps that is the greatest gift the cyclo offers. Not speed, but presence. In today's world, we often believe faster is better. We rush from one destination to another, constantly checking our phones, thinking what about come next. Yet Hanoi gently reminds us that some journeys are meant to slow. Some conversations deserve extra time, and some streets deserve a second look. Some memories cannot be created in a hurry. The cyclo teaches us that travel is not only about arriving somewhere, it is about noticing everything along the way. So when you visit Hanoi, don't simply check famous landmarks of a list. Take a seat on cyclo, smile at your driver, listen to stories hidden behind every street corner. Watch life unfold one paddle at a time. Because for the next hour, you won't simply explore in Hanoi, you'll be traveling through more than 1,000 years of history. And perhaps as the wheels quietly turn beneath you, you discover that the true beauty of this remarkable city had never been about how fast it moves, but about how gracefully it remembers where it came from. Thank you for listening and see you in the next video.